Demogorgons. There's something seriously creepy about the tall, skinny creatures from the Upside Down, the Demogorgons. They move in fast, jerky bursts, almost animal-like, always looking ready to jump at anything that breathes. Their bodies look starved and stretched, and their head is the real nightmare. Instead of a normal face, they have a smooth, blank surface that suddenly opens like a flower. Only the petals are covered in sharp teeth. The moment it spreads open, you know someone is in trouble. Even without eyes, they always know exactly where you are, especially if they sense blood. They feel built to be perfect hunters in total darkness. For a long time, everyone thought the Demogorgons were just wild monsters acting on pure instinct. No strategy, no thought. But everything changes once you connect their behavior with what we now know about Vecna. When Vecna was thrown into the Upside Down, the Demogorgons were already roaming the place. He did not create them. He learned to control them. With the insane psychic power he gained, he turned these creatures into tools he could command. And that completely changes how we see Season 1. We always assumed the Demogorgon grabbed Will Byers by chance. But what if it was not random? What if Vecna wanted Will, and the Demogorgon was simply following orders? The way it stalks the woods, targets certain victims like Barb, and keeps Will alive makes it look less like a beast and more like a soldier on a mission. The Season 5 preview makes it even clearer. A Demogorgon drags Will deeper into the Upside Down toward Vecna. That is not instinct. That is a creature acting under command. Seeing the Demogorgons this way makes them far more frightening, because suddenly they are not just monsters. They are weapons being used by someone even worse. Mind Flayer. When Eleven opened the first gate in 1983, she woke something huge waiting on the other side. The Mind Flayer. This creature is nothing like the Demogorgon. It does not stalk or roar. It acts like a cold, floating mind that can reach into people from far away and pull anything it infects into one giant hive. This is why Will Byers mattered so much. When he was trapped in the Upside Down, the tentacle in his mouth created a real link. After he returned, he felt freezing cold, saw visions, and sensed emotions that did not belong to him. The Mind Flayer was watching the real world through him. It could not fully control him, but it could observe everything he did. The biggest twist comes from Vecna. When Henry Creel was thrown into the Upside Down, he eventually discovered the shadowy creature drifting through the void. Instead of fearing it, he shaped it with his psychic ability and pulled it into his plan. The Mind Flayer became his network, a way for him to reach Hawkins without being there. This leads to Billy in 1985. When the Russians reopened the gate, the Mind Flayer returned and wanted a stronger host than Will, someone it could completely dominate. Billy was the perfect choice. Once infected, he became the creature's physical presence in the human world. He could blend in, move freely, and trick people into becoming part of the hive. Billy's struggle in the sauna shows how deep the control went. He was still inside his own mind, but the creature pushed through whenever it wanted power. In the mall battle, he nearly hands Eleven over until her memories break the control. Billy sacrifices himself while Joyce closes the gate, ending the connection. Will was the link. Billy was the enforcer. The Mind Flayer served as the network. Vecna controlled everything. Vines. You might have noticed them as creepy background details when you first started Stranger Things, but the more you watch, the more you realize the vines are a huge part of how the Upside Down spreads, and how Vecna stays connected to everything. In Season 2, they start appearing in places connected to the dimension, and it becomes clear fast that they're not normal plants. They move, react, and behave like they're tied into something intelligent. When Will is found in the Upside Down library, a vine is attached to his throat, almost like it's keeping him connected to that world. Later, the underground tunnels beneath Hawkins, those dark, spreading networks, are covered in vines that shift and coil when Hopper touches them. They even respond to pain. When scientists burn a vine sample, Will feels it too. That shows the vines, the tunnels, and Will are all plugged into the same hive mind system. By the end of Season 2, the vines make it obvious that the Upside Down is slowly pushing into Hawkins. Season 4 takes the vines from creepy background growth to full-on weapons under Vecna's control. They crawl out of rifts, cover walls, drag people, and fill the upside-down version of the Creel house like the place is alive. Vecna himself is physically attached to them. Vines plug into his back and arms, showing he's part of their network. Through them, he can sense movement, trap victims, and spread his influence. Whenever a new crack forms between worlds, vines burst through the ground and spill into Hawkins. They don't just grow, they invade. They act like Vecna's nerves, letting him reach into places he's not physically in. By Season 4, the vines aren't just signs of the Upside Down. They're tools Vecna uses to control spaces, restrain victims, and push the real world closer to merging with his own dimension. Bats. The bats in Stranger Things first appear in Season 4, and at a quick look they seem like simple background creatures. Once they attack, you realize they are nothing like normal bats. Their skin looks warped, their teeth are sharp, their screeches feel unnatural, and they move with a level of aggression that makes them look created for hunting. They do not seem to have eyes, yet they always know exactly where a person is, as if something is guiding them. The first real encounter happens when Steve dives through the gate under Lover's Lake. The moment he lands in the Upside Down, the bats swarm him. They bite, claw, and wrap around him, which makes it clear they are not random animals. They are guarding territory. They attack anything that enters their space. When Eddie crosses paths with them, their danger becomes even more obvious. One bat is nothing. A swarm can take someone down fast. Eddie ends up fighting for his life as they circle him and strike again and again. It shows that these bats are real predators in the Upside Down and can be just as deadly as the larger creatures. Since the Upside Down works like a hive mind, the bats are directly linked to Vecna. The moment someone enters the dimension, they react. They swarm, they screech, and that response spreads through the hive. Vecna does not need to watch everything because the bats act as his scouts. They hide in dark places until someone gets close, then launch into full attack mode. Their ability to fly gives Vecna reach and awareness that no other creature provides. We still do not know everything about them, but one thing feels clear. Vecna will return, and these bats will make the Upside Down even more dangerous when he does. Henry Creel, the human version. Henry Creel might look human, but he is easily the most dangerous thing Vecna ever became. Before he transformed into the monster we know, Henry was already something twisted. Even as a child, he could sense emotions around him, almost like a radar that picked up thoughts and memories. Instead of being scared of that ability, he enjoyed it. He studied people, learned their fears, and pushed them toward their breaking point. His family never understood what was happening. Henry did not just feel different, he felt superior. He used his powers on animals first, then turned his attention to his family. The house filled with strange visions, lights flickered, and his parents thought the place was haunted. The truth was far worse. Henry was testing what he could do. When his mother began to suspect him, Henry pushed harder. He reached into her mind and broke her from the inside. His father was left confused and terrified, which made him another target. Henry finally snapped and killed them both, leaving only himself and his sister alive. That murder turned him into something the world was not ready for. After being taken to Hawkins' lab, Henry became the experiment everyone feared. Dr. Brenner tried to control him, but Henry was always waiting for the right moment. He watched, learned, and planned. When he finally got the chance, he manipulated 11 into freeing him. That decision changed everything. 11 fought back, overpowered him, and sent him into the Upside Down, which is where Henry turned into Vecna. Before he became the monster Henry Creel was already deadly. The Upside Down only amplified what was already inside him, Vecna. The original Vecna is what Henry Creel became after 11 blasted him into the Upside Down. The moment he hit that world, the place twisted around him like it had been waiting for someone strong enough to shape it. His body burned, stretched, and changed. But the part that mattered most stayed the same. His mind. That cold, calculating mind that had already destroyed his family. The Upside Down did not turn Henry into a monster. It amplified what was already inside him. Every thought he ever had about control and power finally had a place to grow. The vines wrapped into his body. The spores filled the air around him. Everything in that world became part of him, and he became part of it. As Vecna, he gained reach far beyond what he had as a human. He could sense people across dimensions. He could pull into minds, twist memories, and break anyone who crossed his path. Every vision the victim saw was shaped by him. Every nightmare came from him. Even the sound of the grandfather clock became a sign that he had already chosen his next target. Vecna is not just a creature standing in the Upside Down. He is the center of its power. He uses vines, spores, and every living thing around him the same way a puppet master uses strings. The spread of the upside-down world into Hawkins comes from him. The storms, the cracks, the infections. All of it traces back to what Henry Creel became the moment he touched that world. Vecna is not one of the monsters. He is the force guiding all of them. But here's the crazy part. As powerful as Vecna is, his manipulation doesn't even come close to what Pennywise pulls off. Vecna invades minds, but Pennywise becomes the thing you fear most. He twists reality, plays with emotions, and transforms into whatever gets inside your head the deepest. If you want to see just how far that goes, watch every form Pennywise takes, explained in just 10 minutes. I'll see you there.